Going live. Going live. And we're live and there's an error. I don't think that we're actually streaming right now. Hold on.
Let me check.
Yeah, we're
we're live. We're good.
One person's watching. We're live. Everybody's live.
All right, well, fuck it. Let's do it.
Well, that's what we
see
normally
the background
do.
pretty well. That's nice.
All right, go for the intro, Keith.
Right, before I get into the intro, I have two important announcements to make. I've had some correspondence from Evan. He wanted me to read this pre-prepared statement, and he's given me some advice on how to read it. So make sure you have your most excited voice on and go. Yakuza 7 demo. Oh my God, this game. Oh my God, I couldn't believe they could have made it better. Oh my God, this game. I think that was well done.
Did he actually did he actually spell out "Oh my God" or was it "OMG"?
It was all misspelt. He was probably so excited that he couldn't actually spell any of the words, and I had to interpret them on his behalf. And okay, that's the fun bit out of the way. Now we need to get to something really serious. So on behalf of the Beerumverate, I'd like to read this pre-prepared statement, after which we won't be taking questions. Dear fans, some comments were made during last week's episode about the hygiene issues that would be presented by the use of anthropomorphic cat chefs in video game worlds. I would like to say that we were too quick to make those comments, and also to make matters worse, we were too slow in talk to all of you, even Evan. By focusing on just one section of anthropomorphic animal societies that exist during video game worlds, we neglected the issues that could be caused by other anthropomorphic animals, such as the anthropomorphic dogs and cats, both present in the world of Ni no Kuni 2. Comments were made to highlight the obvious hygiene risks that would be present in having anthropomorphic cat chefs in kitchens would cause, but we focused solely on one segment of imaginary anthropomorphic animal kind. For this, we would like to apologize. For any fan or imaginary anthropomorphic cat chef or chefs who may have been offended by Matt's comments and Mitch's behavior during that segment.
I had to mute myself. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Right, we are the Beerumverate. We are a group of guys, sifted.net, who like to talk about good beer and video games. We are not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. Any beers or breweries we might be talking about aren't sponsoring us and have not paid us to say anything nice about them, because sometimes we say bad stuff as well. Like, fruit beer's a load of trash.
Sometimes they have cats in the kitchen.
God damn it! Now we have another statement to make next week. Couldn't keep it clean. Damn it!
It's like the beginning of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where the guy that was directing the movie got sacked, and then the guy that sacked him got sacked.
Please like and subscribe. If anyone would like to be on the show, please message one of us on Twitter or on sifted.net. We've not done a very good job of getting guests on. What's wrong with you people? Do you not want to be on this show?
Yeah.
Oh, they're talking about us. I was like, I'm sorry. I've been a little checked out lately.
Yeah, Mystic Griffin, I'm drinking out of a proper glass. Got a problem with that? Probably not, because you gave me shit for not drinking out of a beer glass. That's probably why we don't have guests on.
Yeah, you need to be nicer.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe they feel like they need to drink. And that's why we don't have people on.
No, I think it's because of time difference and people have lives.
That too, yeah. Apparently I don't have a life.
Yeah, I guess.
No, neither do I. Well, I do. It's mainly during the hours of, say, sometime after 7 o'clock and just after 8 p.m. on a Saturday, when my wife is watching Strictly Come Dancing, which is the UK version of Dancing with the Stars.
Nice.
That's my life, and I choose to live that with both of you and assorted others. So you should both feel really blessed.
Indeed. Indeed, dude.
As obviously you do.
Yeah.
Right. Beers, Mitch, you're still on call because
I literally had to take a phone call just 2 minutes ago.
yeah.
That's the first time I ever had to do one live on the show.
Matt, you were beering it last night because last week you beered during the show and was promptly told off by Mrs. Burkhoff.
Not really. I mean, she was okay with it. I don't like the fact that I wasn't able to drive after we got done doing our back-to-back episodes. So this week I'm taking it easy because I do have stuff that I need to get done after the shows is done. So, but yeah, last night I did drink. We went out and had some Indian food, and I had some Flying Horse Royal Lager. This is a little card that came on the top. I figured I'd read it so that you guys could get the full experience that I had drinking it last night.
This is his prepared statement.
So, Flying Horse Royal Lager beer, the champagne of beers, which I think they might get sued over. Superior malts, aromatic hops, yeast, and crystal clear water are transformed by the skill of the brewmaster into a beer fit for you, the connoisseur. Flying Horse goes through a long and special maturing process. This gives Flying Horse its full body, malty taste, and making it one of the only truly royal beers. Ideally, Flying Horse should be chilled at temperatures of 8 to 10 Celsius. And when you're sure the occasion deserves it, serve Flying Horse Royal Lager beer. Then sit back and drink deeply. I like that part. This bottle of Flying Horse Royal Beer is certified for you by Mr. Vijay, and I can't pronounce his last name, chairman of the UB Group. But yeah, it was a pretty royal experience drinking that beer last night with my Indian food.
Nice. I'm going to look up the guy's name now. Flying Horse Beer.
And I can't pronounce his last name. That's his last name.
Mallya, Malay. Malye?
Okay. Someone else talk whilst I look this up.
So,
well, you were the only one that has a beer, so you need to talk about your beer while we're waiting.
Right, okay. I found some...
You kind of screwed yourself.
West Berkshire, good old boy. Best bitter.
Which you're definitely not a good old boy.
It's also vegan, so that means it's really healthy.
I thought all beer was vegan.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? It's become trendy to be vegan now, so you might as well slap a vegan label on a fucking bottle of beer.
I mean, technically, yeast is alive and is an animal.
Yeah, so
technically it is because it's a culture.
So it can't be vegan.
No.
I mean, it could if they don't use yeast.
They definitely use yeast.
I think that's the whole point.
Yeah, because otherwise, how would you ferment it? Unless you use bread, but then the bread previously would have had yeast in it, so you're stuffed. Right. Vegans, you hypocritical beer drinking bastards.
We'll have to see.
I'm going to have to. That's another apology I've got to.
I know. I'm just going to have to make a statement counter that we have to do for this episode of how many statements we have to make next week, or how many groups of people we have to make within a statement.
Yeah. It says it's citrusy, floral, and piney. I'm not getting any of that at all.
Interesting.
What are you getting?
I'm getting all of the kind of caramel, kind of slightly bitter, malty, smooth. It's very smooth drinking tones, and it's classed as an amber beer, but it looks kind of cross between amber and brown to me. So maybe that's why it's a bit more malty.
I don't think I've ever had an amber with piney hints.
No.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe someone's gone to a sommelier's class and started making that shit up in the back of the bottle. I have more. I also have the Ascot Final Furlong, for anyone familiar with their horse racing, Royal Ascot. And that is, again, it's a best bitter. And if I get bored, I've also got
Spitfire
Golden Ale.
It sounds
had before.
It sounds like the name that we would use for a malt lager here.
Like Spitfire.
Yeah.
You get your 40 ounce of Spitfire.
Yeah.
Right. So that's that. Rumors. Who would like to start?
I'll be more than happy to start with my rumor.
Go for it then.
So I've heard that there's a Hollywood producer out there who is high enough on cocaine to kill a small horse. He's optioned for the rights to make a movie out of Football Manager 2012. He's hired a Master of Fine Arts and Screenwriting from Cal State Fullerton to write the script. But somehow this guy pens a script which ends up being a romantic comedy starring Jonah Hill and Carl Reiner.
Interesting.
And the rumor is that that's the movie that I'm going to pitch to become famous in Hollywood.
As long as you have Myles Garrett star in it with a cameo with a helmet hit, I'm happy with that.
That was just bizarre. Right, Mitch, do you want to go next?
Sure. So there's been the rumor mill has been going around about BioWare changing up everything with Anthem. Like they're starting from scratch. They're making a whole new experience for Anthem. Little do they know, they're making one change. It's going to be in first person instead of third person. And that is the dramatic change that they were looking for, that people wanted, because they feel like it will be better as a first-person shooter, whereas this studio has no experience in first-person shooters. They feel like they can do it.
Well, in the same way they had no experience in making massive online multiplayer looter shooters.
Right.
They just think they have the BioWare magic that they could just do whatever they want and it's going to work out.
I thought for sure you were going to tell us that they're going to turn it into a movie.
That's my pitch to Hollywood. Whose pitch is going to win? Except mine stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Zac Efron.
Yeah, you might win the box office war there.
Yeah. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson may come up later in the item. Right. So for my rumor, Hideo Kojima, being the living legend that he is, independent Marvel, he thought about going to see some of the major movie studios and then thought, I don't need them. I need to go and see the one person who actually knows about making movies. And with my experience of making cinematic video games, I need to go and see the one person who's taken video games to cinema. So Hideo Kojima went to speak to Yue Boll.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy who made all those piece of shit video game licensed movies as tax breaks in Germany.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So why would Hideo Kojima go and see people at Paramount or Universal or even Sony Motion Pictures? Is it
Sony Pictures?
Sony Pictures. Why would he go and see people who make movies when he can be kind of on the underground, keep that indie vibe going, even though he hasn't been indie since God knows how long ago.
Plus, they probably wouldn't tell him what to do. He could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, so he went to see Yue Boll, who did whatever he wanted and bought a load of video game IP, made a load of shit movies about it, and got a load of tax breaks in Germany.
Other than the tax breaks, do you think he made any money?
Oh, he made bucket loads of money.
That's
he'd made low budget piece of shit movies, but just made money off the licensing. and then because he was getting it was a massive tax break that he was getting. It was like 35% tax break. So he was just laughing. I was going to look up a list of all the licensed properties that he used, but I've run out of time.
All right. Sounds like
Mitch, if you introduce the topic, since it was your topic,
Okay.
and Matt does his normal thing and could just be quiet for a couple of minutes. I mean, for God's sake, Matt, we're trying to have a conversation here.
That's okay. So we were talking about topics, and I shot out because the new Sonic trailer came out just last week, and it's been such a dramatic change, which in my opinion, I actually am pretty excited about this movie now because I like Jim Carrey, and I think it's like the old school Jim Carrey. So for me, I'm really excited about this movie, and they fixed Sonic, so it actually looks like Sonic, which is really, really nice. So it got us thinking about video game movies and what our thoughts about them. What do we like? What are our favorites? What do we don't like? What would we like to change in video game movies? What franchise would we want to see in a movie turned into a movie? And it's kind of just a movie talk in general about with video games involved. So I think we should just kind of go around and just first off say like, what is our favorite video game movie? And now to be frank, I mean, in this conversation, we can be honest in regards to like, hey, like just because it's our favorite video game movie does not make it an excellent movie. For these movies, even though I have some favorite video game movies, they're just good movies to like turn your brain off and watch. Like that's where I see the mindset in myself when I watch video game movies, or even some movies in general, like the Sonic movie. I'm ready to turn off my brain and just enjoy whatever's there. So I'll start off with you, Burkoff.
Okay. Favorites video game movies, probably Resident Evil and the first Tomb Raider. Not very good movies, but they're serviceable. They're actually entertaining. The ones I don't like, pretty much every other video game movie adaptation that's ever existed.
Okay. McWomble.
Please hold. That's probably my most favorite one.
Really, Rampage?
It's not literally nothing to do with the video game. It's about you playing monsters that go and decimate cities. But as a 90-minute action movie, it's okay.
Okay.
It's got giant monsters in it. It's got some funny lines. Okay, most of the funny lines they ruined in the trailers that they released before the film, but it had some funny lines in there. And it's got some quite comedic scenes as well. It's a film that doesn't take itself too seriously. Okay. It knows it's there for, I think it's an hour and 38 minutes of stupid.
Nice.
Okay. So for me, I'm very similar to you, Burkoff. Not you, Keith. Never. I'm never the same as you. It's the only reason why I'm on this show, because I'm not the same as Keith. Actually, I own the Resident Evil movies 1 through 4. The rest of them I'm not a big fan of. I don't think they're very good. Unfortunately, the story kind of dives down, but I really like the second one, Resident Evil Apocalypse. I really like that one, but my actual like favorite one, and I do like the Tomb Raider movies, the first 2 Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie, but my absolute favorite so far is actually the newest one with Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And that actually, I would say, in like the realm of good movies, just like good movie realm, it's like near the top of like a good movie because it's got a good plot. It has character development. Yes, the story's not the exact same as the game, and I kind of like that. They do a little bit some differences with it. And to be honest, when I saw the trailers for the movie, I did not think that. I was like, there's no way Alicia Vikander can be Lara Croft. I just don't see it. I don't see it in the trailers. I'm not sold. By the end of that movie, I was sold that she was Lara Croft. And so I think if anyone go watch it, it's worth seeing. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think she looks like Lara Croft, but I don't think that Angelina.
Were you thinking more triangular?
Well, yeah, you need those pointy boobs, but I I don't think Angelina.
That's another add that to apology list.
I don't think that Angelina Jolie really looks like Lara Croft either. You know.
No.
well, in my mind, I think the thing was that it's tricky. I mean, technically, I wanted. Oh, geez, I forgot her name now. It's the actual actress that plays Laura in the games because she looks so close.
She was in Californication, but I can't remember.
She's in Grey's Anatomy. She's a big TV star in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
But, I forgot her name off the top of my head. But anyways, I was a big advocate for her to try to get that role. But I was agree with you where at first I didn't see it, but I think the character development sold it for me. Whereas like I can believe it.
Camilla Luddington.
Yes, thank you.
Well, see, all right. Can we get into like why I have a problem with video game movies?
No, because I need to tell you about some really terrible video game movies made by Yuri Bowl.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, we gotta we'll go to bad video game movies, and then we can go to your rant on why these suck.
This is the nadir of video game movies. So,
I'm sorry, I forgot to say Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the second one. It's a great kung fu movie. I love the music with it. It's really good, but the ending is horrid. The last part of that movie is horrid, but the kung fu sequences are actually really good in Mortal Kombat too.
No, no, they're not.
No,
the first one's okay. The first one actually gets close enough to the video game that you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I like the story structure of one, but like the action of two.
The second one is horrible. Oh my god! And the costumes, everything about that is just.
Yeah, but that's not what I said. You weren't listening. You were just thinking Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and you're just going nothing. And I'm just like, it's just the kung fu sequences are well made and very creative compared to the first one. They're a little too copy pasty.
Okay,
like, just like put you in a scene, you're there.
Yeah.
But
Christophe Lambert as Raiden is Raiden.
Raiden.
Weird. Right, so video game franchises that UA Bowl has had the properties to and made films for: Blood Rain, Rampage, not this Rampage, Postal, Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, and Far Cry.
Oh, which Alone in the Dark, by the way, almost has nothing to do with the game. It's the weirdest like ever. Like I don't even know. Maybe they accidentally just didn't know it was a video game because they just copied the name and just thought.
No, he just bought the license so that he could say that it was based on a video game, so that he could get the tax breaks in Germany. That's all he was doing.
I mean, the movie is it's.
And he made another one. There's Alone in the Dark 2.
Yeah. I know it's the first one's watchable, but it has nothing to do with the game, and so that was a little disappointing because it had a cool opportunity. I think
that's currently sitting on Rotten Tomatoes with a score of 1. Right,
out of 100.
Yeah, Blood Rain has a 4. House of the Dead 3. So you can see where he's going in terms of quality. Now let's pick a well-known franchise.
Blood Rain at least has Billy Zane and Michael Madsen in it.
Yeah. Far Cry is sitting on 3 out of 10 on IMDb. So yeah, this goes to show how much he cared about the quality of the movies that he was making.
I will add to your. We're just gonna throw movies out that we hate into a bowl of hate. So here I go. Hitman sucks.
Hitman is awful.
Hitman is
horrible. Which one? There's like 2 of them.
All of them. There's
both
been 3,
of them.
I think.
I think honestly the newest one is a little bit better, but that's not saying very much.
Yeah, but again, what is Hitman as the game? Hitman is based on choice, preparation, planning,
execution,
literal execution.
Right.
And then how can you get that into a movie?
And he's not, and it's not, and the whole point is he doesn't have any feelings. He's not going to be a character that's going to develop and grow and be like, oh, remember when I was a kid and I was like,
I need to look after this little girl because she's actually the clone of the clone to rule all clones or whatever story was going on about.
Sucks.
Jesus.
Doom, horrible, except for maybe the last, like there's a section in that movie that they do an homage to the game, which is actually
the first person sequence.
I do like the first person sequence. Like it's really nicely done. Besides that, the rest is horrid.
They were sitting in the production studio thinking, how do we get a chainsaw in this movie?
Well, all right, for all its faults, at least Doom, they were like, how do we make this like the video game? Most
credit.
Most video game adaptation movies have absolutely nothing to do with the video game that they're pulling the name from. You know?
And also another Dwayne The Rock Johnson film.
True. Yeah. Maybe he's the only
Carl Urban.
Maybe he's the only one that can actually make decent video game movies.
Berghoff, what's on your throw it in the pit of misery, dilly?
Fucking everything, dude. I mean, Need for Speed, Prince of Persia.
Stop stealing all my picks for fuck's sake.
Dead or Alive, Max Payne. Yeah.
So Max Payne and Need for Speed were in my total cash-ins category.
Wing Commander. That movie's fucking horrible.
And the reason that I've got a total cash-ins section is because so Need for Speed came right off the back of Breaking Bad?
Maybe.
Yeah. So whoever the actor who was in that, who's obviously so good that I can remember his name right off the top of my head.
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, they thought it was the spiritual sequel to Breaking Bad. They weren't sure.
Yeah, so someone thought, how do we steal some thunder from the Fast and the Furious franchise when they've got The Rock? We can get Aaron blah blah from Breaking Bad. Yeah, people love Breaking Bad. If we put Aaron blah blah in some fast cars and do some blah blah stuff and put a video game franchise name on it, we'll get all the video game geeks to come out and watch that because they must love Fast and the Furious.
Right.
You know what?
Aaron blah blah's in it.
You know what's a surprisingly decent movie? The Angry Birds animated movie.
Don't start.
I have tons of kids that actually really like that movie. Not because it's Angry Birds, but it's actually a decent plotted story. Has some really cool actors in it.
The one thing I will say is, in terms of like, if you want to find good video game movies, turn to animated stuff. Most of the animated stuff is at least going to be entertaining and have something to do.
That was going to spark a conversation for me about Street Fighter.
Yeah, the anime movies are good, but those I don't really consider those like movie adaptations.
What do you think of the? There's two on the list I do want to hear your thoughts on. Silent Hill. It's the first one. That's not the second one. The first one. The first one is really close to the original. I actually am not going to put it in the crappy list personally, but I'm curious to what you guys think. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it because I figured it was just somebody trying to cash in on the Resident Evil franchise. Like the Resident Evil movies did really well, so let's get this other horror.
To be truthfully honest, Silent Hill, completely different tone than Resident Evil, and I think it's really unique. I think it's well done.
Okay.
But what did you see it, Keith?
No, I didn't.
God damn it, guys, get on that train. Here's a different one. Have you seen the Assassin's Creed movie?
No, fuck no. That looked horrible.
The way the reviews were on that, you'd have to pay me to watch that film.
I'm gonna throw it in the pit. It's that bad. It's
Jesus!
And I like Michael Fassbender too. I mean, he's a good actor.
It's a terrible idea.
Is it made by the same people who are making the really, really shit X-Men films?
20th Century Fox, yes. Well, now it's Disney, so...
Kel surprised that Assassin's Creed's a piece of shit because they don't know what to do with the X-Men franchise.
So now Assassin's Creed will be made by the mouse.
Well, maybe they might actually figure out how to do something actually fun with it.
That's a long story. I'm not into the whole Disney buying everybody out thing because I just don't want a world of Disney. I don't want formulas. I'm done with Marvel formulas. Don't put it in my other movies, and I don't want them to do it to Star Wars. So I'm terrified of that. So,
and it's pronounced formulae. Okay, so can we get into the kind of category of it's okay, but that's about it?
Is Warcraft in that category?
I'd put it in that category.
Because there's a Charles Hollinsworth, I think I'm pronouncing it right. He threw in World of Warcraft in the chat section.
Yeah.
So I'd include Rampage. I keep getting this wrong because when I put a virtual background on, it flips the screen for some reason. So my left and right get totally screwed up.
You can fix that in the settings,
Yeah, I would put Rampage in the it's okay. The first Mortal Kombat movie, I'd put Street Fighter, the live action Street Fighter, in there because it is so hilariously bad. And
I put Final Fantasy VII Advent Children in that category.
Okay.
But I would throw Final Fantasy Spirits into the pit of misery.
In the bin.
Actually, I don't mind the Spirits Within. It's not like, other than the Final Fantasy name, it has absolutely nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
It's horrid. It's horrid. Let's just keep it where it is. Burkoff, don't try to save it because it's Final Fantasy. It's horrid. It needs to stay there.
No, hang on. Let's work this out. Is it part of the Final Fantasy universe? Does it have a angsty teenager with long hair?
No, it's part of the Novel Crystallis Chronicles.
Does it have a mage? Does it have an overly bloated story about finding yourself and friendship and all that other bollocks?
Nope. Charles agrees with me. It goes in the pit. It's overruled. Charles agrees. It goes in the pit.
No, I think it should burn in hell for all eternity. I was just trying to figure out where it actually meshes into the Final Fantasy universe.
Maybe they were trying to make a movie and they're like, we'll just throw Final Fantasy on it just to make it sell more copies.
That's what happened.
Okay,
Here we go.
what else is going to go? What's going to go on the
section? What's
in the okay section of like, it's serviceable, it's doable, it's not great.
I'd put Detective Pikachu in there.
I would disagree with you. I think it's higher than that, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think that it is personal opinion. I watched it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was as amazing as the reviews were making out.
I think they set up the world excellently. I think that's the thing they did great. Like they made me really believe that Pokemon could live in cohesion with humans. The only thing that I had a little bit of an issue with it was I love Ryan Reynolds and I love him as Deadpool. But I maybe wished Ryan Reynolds did not take the role. Or if he wasn't Deadpool, I think it would have been perfect for him. But I think they're just too similar that it seemed like a PG Deadpool to me than honestly, I think I would have preferred a different actor to take it up because then it wouldn't have felt like Yeah, because it just felt like PG Deadpool, and for me, I just didn't want that. I wanted, like, if they were going to do that kind of humor, just do it with someone else then, because just Ryan Reynolds is too attached to Deadpool that I just can't see him in a different role.
Yeah, I did think
humor.
he sold the role as it was written. He did a very good job.
Yes.
I'm not sure who else they would have got other than maybe Aaron Blah Blah. I mean, he could have done it. I mean, he was amazing in that show on Netflix.
But I think the really thing I loved about it. Sorry, I'll let you talk in a second, Berghoff. I'm so sorry. So just the thing that made me put it over the top is that not only the cohesion of the world, but the twist in the end, I think is really well done. And I think it's really clever, and it's such a great use of Pokemon. I'm just so happy they did it that way. I was just like, oh my God, yes, that's how you should do it. But okay, go Berghoff.
So like,
anyway, so
how do you
shut up, Keith?
how do you even watch this movie after seeing the Mr. Mime pictures? How is this even like, oh, that looks like it might be decent to watch? After
Mr. Mime pictures?
Yes.
Sorry, can you clarify?
Do you mean the trailer that had the bit with Mr. Mime in it?
Yes, yeah. Like once those hit the internet, I was like, I'm done. This is too creepy.
No, that's hilarious. That's so perfect for Mr. Mime. Like, I don't get how that's creepy. That's great.
It's like a bit weird.
I think it's great. I think that's exactly what I would want in a Mr. Mime. Like, compared to Mr. Mime,
it does fit the universe.
Series,
Mitch is absolutely right. It fits the universe.
Okay.
And like compare it to the only reason why I was more excited about that is, like, I watched the television show when I was a kid. And Mr. Mime was just a dumb guy that would just sweep the floors because he worked at Ash's mom's house. That's all I know. I known him as slave labor. And this is time when you're like, so I just know, like, that's all I know him as. But in this moment, like, you think of a mime, but like, that's a mime would do something similar, except, you know, put a spin on it, make it have some character, make it have some like emotion and feel, so it feels like a literal character in itself. And that's great. Like, that's what mimes would do. And on top of that, if it's a creature that lives itself as a mime, like, I would never see it any other way. Like, how would you make it interesting for yourself? What, you want them to be boring all day and just go like, touch the wall? Like, it's like be creative, because they're gonna live like that their whole life.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just don't like mimes.
The whole aesthetic throws it off for me. like, why live action? Why is this? Why
because he's so good as furry. Oh, I love, because it sells it. It sells it so well.
It does. It does work in that if you could transport yourself from the 3DS or whichever video game system you happen to be playing Pokemon
now Switch
into that world, it does actually work. And I absolutely agree with Mitch for once. That,
I mean, just
put that in your fucking calendar.
I mean, just do it like Roger Rabbit, right?
This is the day.
You're thinking Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes,
drawn cartoon style.
Do it like that, or you can have CG, but do it like they look in the video games, if that's what you're gonna do. If you're gonna mix it with live action.
But when you want live action, they want it to be real. That's the whole point. They want you to sell that this is a real cohesion.
You need yellow Pikachu hair in your coffee cup.
We saw how well that worked with the first iteration of Sonic.
Yeah, but it's not Sonic though. These are animals. These are creatures.
And you're jumping ahead, Mr. Burkhoff.
Sorry.
No, he's not only jumping ahead. He's comparing two completely different franchises where in Sonic, the video games, he's not well, actually, I guess in one game he does interact with humans, but it's not the
creepiest video game of the
time. But he, like, when you compare this to Pokemon is meant to be like animals that live in our society, like in our
not
world.
Just
so they need
weird
to be real.
Speedster hedgehog from outer space or whatever.
It's basically like if I looked at a bunny, It's not going to be, it's not, if I come outside and I look at a bunny that's outside, like I would not want it to be colored and hand drawn. Like you want the bunny to look like the real bunny that's in front of you, and it's an animal and it lives there, and that's what Pokemon are. Like
I think Matt's missing one major thing as well.
What?
Which is that Nintendo, Game Freak, and the studio who made Detective Pikachu weren't just going for a massive cash-in. They actually wanted to make a good film. Whereas Paramount were just thinking,
agreed.
Screw this shit. With people like Sonic the Hedgehog, fucking cha-ching. How do we make the cheapest piece of shit that we can possibly can to get people through the doors? Speaking of which, here's another example, all right?
Max Payne, yeah.
I never saw Max Payne, but
it's so bad. And again, it was picking Marky Mark at the height of his kind of rise to fame or rise to popularity. Just saying, oh yeah, we need you to do a film to play a kind of gruff bad guy. It's like, yeah, whatever. Have you played the Max Payne games? What's a video game? I just work out and eat protein. I've got in my daily schedule, I have 45 minutes for family time. Yeah, so yeah, I'll do your video game movie. How much are you paying? Yeah, great, fine, whatever.
So we'll kind of we'll segue it into Sonic, and then we'll get to what we really want to talk about, which is why are these movies so bad, or good, depending on it. But let's talk about Sonic, because I'm really curious about your opinions on Sonic, because I know we talked a little bit earlier about it, but what are your thoughts with the new actually Sonic looking character? Are you more excited for the film, less excited for the film, samey on it? Go Burkoff.
All right, so when it originally came out, when they originally released the trailer, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Now that they've corrected the look of the character, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's a video game movie. 2 words, dumpster fire. So they've gone from it being so absurdly bad to being like, oh yeah, this is what can be expected from a bad video game movie.
Okay. Go McWomble.
I think they should have doubled down. Rather than listen to the fans and think, yeah, we've actually made this horrible, what have we done? What have we done to this beloved video game character? They should have doubled down. They should have made it even worse and made it into, say, a comic horror movie. And made him look even more like a realistic hedgehog. Or even more like a realistic person morphed with a hedgehog.
Oh, God.
I think they should have just gone for it. Fingernails, everything.
Okay, here's where I disagree with both of you hardcore. When watching that second trailer, I don't know if you caught it. There are a couple of things that I think they did really, really well that I think they changed my enthusiasm from. Oh man, first of all, when I saw that, I was like, this looks like a piece of crap. This horror-looking creature, I don't even recognize this thing. But besides them like fixing the character design, the rest of that trailer, there are a couple things that I caught that was different than what was in the first trailer.
Okay.
One, they did some great jobs in matching the similar kind of, oh, hi, Angelina Jolie. They did a great job of matching the animation to the animation that happens actually in the game. So there's a couple moments where, like, when you're with Sonic in the original games, when you run to the side and then you try to turn back the other way, he does this lift up with his leg. They copied it verbatim in the trailer for the similar type of movement that he did there. So that showed, for me at least, that they are actually really understanding the material and the animation and trying to really match it up. The second thing I caught on if you go to the baseball sequence, there's a mix of a song from Sonic 2 in the Genesis game. That's kind of a remix of it, but yet it's the same song from, I think it's probably the first level if I remember correctly, but it's just a song I recognized and I was like, wow, that is just really well done to really take one of the scores from the songs and mix it and make it your own. And yes, I know you look bored, Keith. We'll get there. Don't worry.
No, sorry. Very sorry. I was listening to everything that you were saying. So, so basically, Aaron Blah Blah stars as Sonic the Hedgehog.
And to be honest, in that first trailer, the only good sequence in that first trailer was when Sonic was in the suitcase, and then the woman asked, "Is that your child in there?" And then the guy that plays the cop goes, "That's not my kid." And then the guy goes,
it's got Cyclops in it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm a lot more excited, and also because I think they showed all the characters so much better in this one than I think it's funny. I think it's great.
I get what you're saying. I like the fact that they're actually taking the time to, hey, maybe we should pay attention to the video game, because a bunch of people on the internet got really pissed off when we gave him human teeth.
And took his gloves away and gave him furry hands.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, all right, what is this? A buddy cop road trip film?
Yeah.
Starring Sonic the Hedgehog? That's fucking weird.
So I guess we'll go right to you, Burkoff, because I think I have a feeling of what your magical perfect movie is. Why do you hate these movies so much? Is it because they're not matching exactly verbatim what the game is?
No, it's not that. It's like, why are you even using the IP at all? Just write a buddy cop road trip film with a anthropomorphic hedgehog. Like I don't
say you're copying Sonic.
I don't understand why it has to be, why they have to license this shit. Like, it exists perfectly fine in its own realm, right? But the minute they license this shit and do a movie out of it, it's horrible. These things never work out right.
So what I'm guessing from Matt is he's a filthy socialist and doesn't understand capitalism, and doesn't realize that only having one successful intellectual property in one specific medium doesn't make you all of the money in the entire universe. And what people need to do is take that IP and translate it into different forms of media so that you can then monetize all of those things.
Well, all right.
Oh, wait. I have a perfect counter argument to your argument, not McWomble. I'm going after you, Burkoff.
The one time
I'm going after the other guy. So get ready for this one.
Excuse me. I'm just going to get comfy.
So if you're saying that, then you're saying that Star Wars should never make any comics, shouldn't make any games, shouldn't make any books, because it is perfectly fine in its own universe inside just one medium, which is film.
Eat that.
That's different, though.
That's what you're saying about video games in general. No, it's not. It's the same exact thing. Because they make games, so you're just saying you're just flip-flopping which medium it comes from.
I'm saying, okay, yeah, Star Wars could exist just as movies. That's what it is. And you could find a way to do the games and make them not be Star Wars, and still do this.
Wouldn't you want to play a Star Wars game? Like, wouldn't it be fun? Like,
yeah, but that's different. That's totally different. If
right,
because
Matt,
you're actually.
I need to ask you a question.
Go for it.
So what you're basically saying is that Star Trek is absolutely fine as a TV show, and not as anything else. So movies, novels, games, puzzles.
To be fair, most of the Star Trek games are pretty bad.
Deviant art.
I guess why do you feel it needs to belong only in the medium that it came from?
Because if you're all right, so like
I feel like we're psychologists right now asking Burkoff his feelings.
So Matthew, tell me how you feel about these video games. I feel like Dr. Lipschitz from Suits.
I don't know that I've watched that.
No one watched that
I've
show.
never
That's a
seen
good show.
Suits, but anyways, okay, go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Burkoff.
Except the last series. The last series is a piece of shit.
What was the question again?
My question is, why do you feel like it needs to belong in the same medium it came from? Why should it not be able to explore elsewhere to try?
Yeah,
new-
Matt,
Alright, so-
why can't you transform a property?
Well, all right. So the other issue that I have with it, other than it not being fucking related, like, is the fact that you have these stories that are written that have absolutely nothing to do with what the video game is, or the video game is so obscure in the way that it's telling the stories, such as Street Fighter, which doesn't really have a story. To make a story out of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, right?
But all anime don't make sense.
And don't the Street Fighter characters have? I mean, I'm not a Street Fighter person, so I don't really know. I just know Mortal Kombat, so I'm guessing on this one, and I could be wrong. You can correct me. But don't the Street Fighter characters have names? Don't they have backstories? Don't they have character development of some kind within?
Yeah, but it's
where they come from. So
basically
you
what
can
they
tell stories based off that, can't you not? Explore that more.
It's this. Right. Street Fighter has a lot to. You can point a finger at that for a lot of blame, and most of that blame goes towards what they've done in terms of doing. It looks like I'm pretending to be Angelina Jolie's nose. Okay, quick point, Matt. Why would you deny Angelina Jolie the chance of a lifetime to play Lara Croft? How dare you? How dare you deny her that opportunity by saying that she can only be in video games? I'm not asking for a response. I'm just saying it. And the second thing is all the stuff that Street Fighter did where they had all the backstory about Chun-Li's dad being killed by M. Bison or whatever the fuck it was, who cares? Then Blizzard took that and thought, oh, we can make games without any story whatsoever and get people to think that there's a story in it. And then we can make it into a monetized loot box game called Overwatch. And they've pretty much done exactly the same stuff that Street Fighter have done, but just without the actual animated movies. So they've done them as elongated CG trailers, but
which are cool.
Expecting they are cool, but they've got absolutely nothing to do with the game. I'm fully expecting at some point Blizzard to announce that they're going to do a fully CG short movie for Overblah.
So let me break it down this way then. Do you think, Burkoff, you are okay with
movies when they're good?
With properties that explore other mediums, as long as it's within the lore or is canon within that lore of the original, what's the word I'm looking for? The original content of where it came from and what medium it came from. So like Street Fighter, the movies are good in regards to like those anime movies because it's built off the lore of the characters that was there.
So Charles just called you Comrade Burkoff.
I know. I noticed that earlier.
tell you what though, because Matt can't actually find a defensible comment on this. This bloody horrible.
Okay.
No,
I think Uncharted will probably be a good movie. As long as
I don't think that's ever going to come out.
I disagree, and I think it's going to be horrible, especially because Matt Damon is apparently supposed to play Sully, and that's going to be a horrible idea.
As long as they follow the formula of the games, because the games are basically you playing a movie.
Yeah, but the difference is and this is where it becomes really complicated in regards to video game media.
I thought he was just going to leave.
Yeah, he's just going to leave. just gonna leave.
No,
Here's
but-
the
I'm fed up with this.
We
You two have just given me shit all episode. That's it. I'm done.
we spend like sometimes up to 30 to 60 hours with characters. We end up learning so much about them that we like know them as people. And the issue becomes when you put them into a movie and you try to have that much character development within a movie like that, it's impossible. So what can you do?
Which is why
Like,
I would
you can't-
never
it's-
want a Mass Effect movie.
Yeah, that's why I said I want a Mass Effect TV show if I was going to have a Mass Effect series, because I want plenty of time with characters. Because each season could be, in a sense, one game, and you could get plenty of screen time in it. But anyways, so that's the thing. Like, I think that's the overall issue with video game movies, is that there's so much there in a game that there isn't enough time to really do it justice. That's why I think the Tomb Raider movie does it so well, because it offers character development for a character, doesn't match exactly to the character of the movie, but it has the things in it, the pieces in it that has it so it's close enough that you're like, I can believe this. I can believe that this person's going to be Tomb Raider.
It's got enough of the story beats, and the villains in Tomb Raider have never been that compelling.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
And so the
Whilst-
villain's not that compelling in this one.
yeah, Walton Goggins does a serviceable job.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Cue the slow hand clap. It's like you were the villain in a Tomb Raider movie.
And I think the structure of that movie wise is really well done, because there are homages to the beginning of the movie where she gets into situations and runs into problems. And then at the end of the movie, she runs into similar situations, but grows throughout the movie and be able to solve the problem.
The boat crash at the start of the film is a total rip-off of the start of Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh no, it's from the first Tomb Raider, the boat crash.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's a total rip-off, but it works. It works as a plot device.
The same thing with Himiko. Himiko is the same god, but they actually twist the story a little bit differently, and I love the twist they do with it. I mean, they kind of push it more into reality than into the mystical like the games does, but it does it serviceably well. Like it serves the story that it's being told. It works. So I think it can be done. They just need to put pieces in it and tell their own story.
And tell you what, this is so bad, I don't actually want to finish drinking it.
I think it's
like a lot of video game movies. It's so bad, I don't want to see the end.
I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Because Resident Evil, those movies, I think do well because they're so divorced from the Resident Evil series, other than a cameo by Jill Valentine, that it's like, oh, it's just a zombie movie, and it happens to have the name. But then,
well, it's more like put the characters, like pluck out the Resident Evil characters, pluck out like the names of the corporation stuff, and play with it. Just have fun with it. Now, I know the first one was supposed to actually be part of the canon of the games. It was supposed to be what was happening at the mansion before like Chris, Jill, all them got to the mansion.
And it's actually got a relatively good cast. I mean, Colin Salmon puts in a pretty good acting performance
in there too. Michelle Rodriguez is an actress as well.
Yeah, and Mila.
And I'll tell you what, it's a brilliant movie. If you don't play this when you watch films, you need to start playing Spot the Stiff.
Spot the Stiff. What is that?
So it's basically you start watching the film, and within the first 30 seconds of every character introduction, you guess who's going to be dead by the end of the film.
Nice.
I like that.
And it's a brilliant. It works best on classic
horror movies,
war movies, and horror movies. So if you get someone who's oh yes, this is a photograph of my fiance. We're going to get married when I get home from the war. Dead.
Right.
It works brilliantly across military and horror movies. Absolutely great game to play.
And then unfortunately you're gonna guess wrong because Michelle Rodriguez is like top billing, yet she dies. And so that's like the one you're like, of course they're not gonna kill the top billing people. Like, come on. And you're like, yep, they did it.
Yeah, she dies pretty early too.
No, she lasts all the way to the end.
Does she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets bit early. She gets bit in the beginning, but she
Okay.
lasts all the way to the end.
That's
Yeah, is it the blow up the train? She was one of the people.
Yeah, she's the one that turned into the zombie on the train while the Licker's trying to take him out. But yeah, that's when it's great. That's like those are good too because they're divorced of it. So like it's just it's really hard because you run into the situation where you have it where Burkoff you're talking about you like the Resident Evil movies because they're divorced of them.
And then
at the same time,
there's other instances where it just makes absolutely no sense.
And then you're more frustrated because they're like, why can't it be like the story? But then you get that story and you're like, this sucks.
Well,
I think what this basically boils down to, and I am going to interrupt Matt because it's fun.
It's tradition at this point.
Is does the person making the film actually give a shit about the IP?
I mean, that's with every piece of IP that you ever work with. That's with
exactly.
That's with people that are comic book directors. Like the reason why, like the Marvel movies, people really love them is because Kevin Feige produces them and he loves Marvel comics. Or you have someone that like,
it's like Warner Brothers who's taking the DC property and shit all over it because they don't care. They just want money.
Or they think they can put a spin on it and they don't understand where the content comes from.
Or you actually go full, you lean into it more and say, actually, some of these comic book properties that we're making are pretty dark. Maybe we should make these R-rated. I'd love to see an R-rated Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my R-rated Joker.
Getting back to video game movies, though. The elephant in the room, Mario Brothers. We've all seen it.
I don't even count that.
The poisonous spawn that started it all.
Yeah. I think
it started it wrong too. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so this is why I hate video game movies so much. I'll show you on the doll where Mario Brothers touched me, and that's kind of where it all started. I guess I'm just traumatized from that movie forward. It's like I can't accept there ever being. I
think we deserve to do an apology for that statement right now.
This is a psychology.
We don't stand by Matt's analogy on that one. Obviously, we don't equate him watching a film to things where people would actually have to go and see psychiatrists or actual police officers. This is the first time. I know we've kind of skirted the line on some of these things, but that's the first one where I think we've stepped over.
That's true. We probably should say it should be you were traumatized by it,
by the movie,
but not touching a doll.
Right.
Analogy. I'd agree.
So, but I mean, that movie's like divorced enough from Mario Brothers itself that it may have been a decent movie if they just took the name and did something cool with it, but they didn't. It's just this horrible funhouse of psychosis, I guess. I don't know.
See, I don't understand how
whatever drugs people were smoking when they came up for that, and whoever greenlit it, it was kind of, this is a great idea, and we get Dustin Hoffman. Was it Dustin Hoffman?
Well, no. See, I don't understand this. Nintendo, like, Jesus Christ, come on. How are they not made a television show in CG with Mario? Like, it's just calling their name for kids to purchase and watch. Like, just a really kids show with Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach, and Bowser, and it can be like one of those goody comedy comedy things where Mario murders the entire population of the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, this one he doesn't murder anybody, and like they just live next door or something, and like they talk, and I don't know.
They did do the cartoons in the 90s with Mario Brothers and Zelda.
Yeah, just awful.
It's just yeah. But I think we should probably. I think we're over time. So
right. Trying to wrap.
Any last movie you want to burn or praise before we?
I don't know. I feel like we haven't talked enough about Street Fighter.
I will give a shout out to the Tekken animated movie. That's a really good movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
No, neither have I.
It's really good. And it's the only reason I know how to pronounce Hayashi Mishima, because of that movie. There's like a woman that goes up there and she's the one that's dressed as a I think she's Native American, because she has the feathered hat and stuff. And she's like, Hayashi Mishima. But it's a really good animated movie. I think it was made in the 90s, if I remember correctly. It's literally about the son of Hayashi Mishima set to kill his father. It's pretty bloody. I think it's probably going to be rated R, if I remember correctly. But
do you know what a good franchise would potentially translate from video games to movies? The Yakuza franchise. Except for the fact there's already a series of films based on the Yakuza.
I mean, you could say that for The Last of Us. You could say that for Uncharted.
Yeah.
You could say that for Metal Gear.
Yeah, a Metal Gear Solid movie. Jesus.
So people want to know, it's actually Tekken: the motion picture. Came out in 1998. It has a... oh, that's a little disappointing. I like it more than that. Fortunately, people hate it because it has like a 5.3 out of 10 on the anime list. And yeah.
That's not too bad. That's above average.
Yeah.
It's about an hour. It's a good... I found it already on, like, you can watch it on YouTube for free. So it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I just think Hideo Kojima is going to redeem all video game movies by making
the ultimate video game movie.
The ultimate video game movie, and it's going to be 24 hours long, and it's going to need 8 intermissions, and you're only allowed to watch it in one sitting.
And you do have to hold a controller in your hand. It doesn't do anything, but you must hold the controller in your hand.
It vibrates at certain sections.
Yes, exactly.
In certain elements of it, during the intermissions, when you go for a piss,
you can play a mini game.
Yeah, you play a mini game, and they're going to store that, and then they're going to take your levels of piss and put that in the movie to fight the bad guys.
So how much you urinate determines your fate of if you survive or not.
Man, in all fairness, I think as much as I shit on Kojima, if he made a Metal Gear Solid movie, if by some chance he made enough money off of Death Stranding to license the rights from Konami to do that, and it was based off of the first game, I think he could actually pull it off, and it would probably be a really good movie.
To my knowledge, there's already a Metal Gear movie being created. Some guy's already writing the script for it. I saw it on Collider Video.
Okay.
They were interviewing the guy who was writing the script. So I think someone already has the movie rights to
well, there you go. That just
Metal Gear.
Kills my dreams.
Well, in which case, Matt, get your pitch in now.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to do it probably, gentlemen. So if you want to be on the Beerumverate, either message myself, Burkoff, or McWomble on Sifted, Twitter, or even on Discord. We'll get you on the Discord channel as well. If you like the content, subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. We're just 3 people in front of tablets or computers that like to talk about video games and drink.
Don't drink this beer. It's bloody awful.
So I think that is all. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, thanks guys. And on that note,